Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for your kind association. Let us continue our study of Srīmad Bhāgavatam in this Bhakti Vaibhava course. Let us begin with Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamhayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let us recite our memorization verses for module number 3. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharma Parinishtaya Janmalabha Parah Pumsamante Narayana Smritihi. The highest perfection of human life achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty, is to remember the personality of Godhead Narayan at the end of life. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of all material desire, without any material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the Supreme Whole, the personality of Godhead, Krishna. Chatushloki Bhagavatam, verse 1, about Jnana, Lord's material and spiritual forms. Aham eva sameva agre nanyad yatsad asat param paschadaham yadetacha yo vashishyeta sosmyaham. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is speaking to Lord Brahma. Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation, when there was nothing but myself. Nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead. And after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead. Verse 2, indicating Vijnana, Lord's energies. Prityartham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyadatmano mayam yatha bhaso yatha tamaha. O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna said this to Lord Brahma. Shlok number 3. Rahasyam, Lord's activities with his energies. Yatha mahanti bhutani bhuteshu chavacheshvanu pravishtana pravishtani tatha teshu nateshvaham. O Brahma, please know that the universal elements enter into the cosmos and at the same time do not enter into the cosmos. Similarly, I myself also exist within everything created, and at the same time I am outside of everything. Shlok Chatushloki 4. Tad Angam Sadhana Bhakti. Etavad eva jidnyasyam tattva jidnyasunatmanaha anvaya vyatirekabhyam yatsyat sarvatra sarvada. A person who is searching after the Supreme Absolute Truth, the personality of Godhead, must certainly search for it up to this, in all circumstances, in all space and time, and both directly and indirectly. Last verse. The 10 topics of Srīmad Bhāgavatam. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshanam utayaha manvantareshanu katha nirodho muktirashrayah. Sri Shukdev Goswami said, in this Srīmad Bhāgavatam, there are 10 topics regarding the following: the creation of the universe, sub-creation, planetary systems, protection by the Lord, the creative impetus, the change of manus, the science of God, returning home back to Godhead, liberation, and the Samam Bonam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we are continuing from the second canto of Srīmad Bhāgavatam, chapter 4, the process of creation. I think we completed up to verse number 7. And we have to start from verse number 8 today. So I request Shama Vallabhi Mataji to read the Sanskrit verses and Mukta Sangha Prabhu to read the English translations. So please start with verse number 8, Shama Vallavi Mataji. And I'll ask you to make comments. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Reading from Canto 2, Chapter 4, Text number 8. Nunam Bhagavato Brahman Harer Adbhuta Karmanaha Durvibhavyam Iva Bhati Kavivishchapi Cheshtitam. Translation also, Prabhuji.
Yeah, translation I said Mukta Sangha Prabhu. Can you read translation?
Thank you, Prabhu. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Who learned Brahmana? The transcendental activities of the Lord are all wonderful and they appear inconceivable because even great endeavors by many learned scholars have still proved insufficient for understanding them.
So in the previous verse, Maharaj Parikshit requested his Gurudev, Shri Shukadeva Goswami, that please describe how the Supreme Lord has created this whole universe and how he engages his different energies and different expansions in maintaining and destroying this material creation. Here, Maharaj Parikshit is requesting his Gurudev, Shri Shukadeva Goswami, that the transcendental activities of Bhagavan, Krishna, they are inconceivable. Why they are inconceivable? Why Harer Adbhuta Karmana? Why Krishna Karma is Adbhut, divine, inconceivable? Because Kavibhischapi Cheshtitam. It is Durvibhavyam. It is inconceivable, even though many Kavis, many great learned personalities, they try to understand, but they are not able to understand. Mam tu Vedana Kaschana, in Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, Vedaham Samatitani, Vartamanani Charjuna, Bhavishyami cha Bhutani, Mam tu Vedana Kaschana. Krishna knows everything, everyone, past, present, and future, but Krishna, nobody knows. He is inconceivable. Achintya Gunaswarupam, Govindam Ādi Purusham, Tamaham Bhajan. And therefore, Maharaj Parikshit is requesting his Gurudev, Bhagavato Brahman. He is addressing his Gurudev as learned Brahman. O Brahman, Brahma Janati iti Brahman. Brahman is one who knows Krishna. So please tell me about the process of creation. Now, purport is very extensive, and I'm going to read sections of it, and I will ask all of you, including Aradhya Madhavi Mataji, to make comments. Because as Bhakti Vaibhava students, we have to grow spiritually. We have to grow in our understanding of Srīmad Bhāgavatam. Understanding based on the previous acharyas, based on Srila Prabhupada, and as Srila Prabhupada is quoting Sridhar Swami, Jiva Goswami, Chakravarti Pad. We have to understand Srīmad Bhāgavatam based on the commentaries and explanations given by these acharyas. We have to understand that these Bhakti Vedanta purports of Shri Srīmad Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, they represent Srila Prabhupada's own realizations and also the Siddhanta, the teachings of the previous acharyas in our parampara, in our line. Srila Prabhupada is giving us all of that. So Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, please listen very carefully. My Guru Maharaj, Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj, said that reading the translations of Srīmad Bhāgavatam is 1%. Srila Prabhupada's purports are 99% understanding. If somebody just reads the translations of Srīmad Bhāgavatam, all the 12 cantos, they will have 1% understanding of Srīmad Bhāgavatam. Really, you take someone from the street, pick up someone from the street, give them Srīmad Bhāgavatam, only translations. Okay, pura padho, 18,000 shlok translations. Let them finish and then ask, kya samjhe? Batao. They will understand 1%.
But someone who has read the translations, read the word-to-word meaning that Srila Prabhupada has given for us, and then the purports, they will have 100% understanding. That is possible. Of course, nobody can understand everything, Srīmad Bhāgavatam completely, but what is required for us to perfect our lives, to go back home, back to Godhead, what is required, uska 100% will get in Srila Prabhupada's purports. Nothing else is necessary. We can study, and that will deepen our understanding. But if someone doesn't get to study, Ladini Mataji did not get to study, but she got Krishna. So many devotees got Krishna just by reading Srila Prabhupada. Ladini Mataji never met any other sadhu in her life other than Srila Prabhupada. All she knew was her Prabhupada. Bas. She followed Srila Prabhupada as it is, and she got Krishna in this very lifetime. So this faith we should have. Srila Prabhupada says, the acts of the Supreme Lord in the creation of just this one universe appear inconceivably wonderful. How Krishna has created this universe, if you really think about it, look at our body, look at the skin. It has got epidermis. If epidermis gets cut off, the dermis regenerates the epidermis. How many times we get scratches and it heals even without scar? If it is deep, it goes down to the dermis, still it will heal, but there will be some scar. And we have a sense of touch. We touch something hot, immediately we can withdraw to protect ourselves. Yeah? Our eyes, how complicated they are. Ears, there are 3 bones inside the ear, which vibrate when the eardrum vibrates, and giving the sensations to the nerves that go to the brain, and all the sound vibrations are processed. And all this is happening so quickly. There is no buffering, or what the computer says, processing. Aisa nahi hota hai. In real time, see, I am speaking and Mukta Sangha Prabhu is smiling. Immediately there is, so it's going and is understanding everything. And my mind is also telling me what to speak. Everything is happening so quickly. Krishna has designed this yantra. Yantra Rudani Maya. This yantra. Krishna has designed so wonderfully. If we simply think how this whole universe is working, how the oxygen is maintaining us, how the trees are producing oxygen that we need by taking carbon dioxide, how we are producing carbon dioxide, how there is symbiotic existence in the entire atmosphere. It is simply amazing how we are all connected and how we are all living so harmoniously. And then whatever problems are there, we are creating. All these hurricanes, tornadoes, global warming, Arctic caps melting, all this we are doing by burning fossil fires and doing so many other things. But Krishna has designed it very nicely. It's wonderful. We should sometimes think, how adbhut, Harer adbhuta karmana, as this verse says. Really, Krishna, you're so amazing. These trees, these seasons, so many species of life. How it is so wonderful. Even this Dukkhalaya, Shashvatam, you have created so perfectly. Krishna is really very expert. And there are innumerable such universes. And all of them aggregated together are known as the created material world. The spiritual world is not created. It is always existing. But in the material world, there is Shrishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. There is creation, maintenance, annihilation. Not in the spiritual world. Only material world. So this one universe is so amazing. And this universe is like a small mustard seed. And the material creation is like a big sack filled with mustard seeds. Srīmad Bhāgavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita describes. On the head of Anandashesh, Bhagwan. So there are so many universes, and in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is described that this is one of the smaller universes, very small. There are other universes which are very big. And Brahmaji has even millions of heads in those universes. And some Brahmas have 16, some have 32, some have 64. Ours is Chaturmukhi Brahma, only 4. So that this is just one universe, and this itself is so complex. And there are millions and millions of such universes. But together, they are only one small part of Krishna's creation, the created world, the material world. Listen now. And this part of his creation, the created material world, is only a fraction portion of the complete creation. The material world stands as a part only. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Ekamshena Sthito Jagat. With one spark of my splendor, I'm maintaining this whole created world. Because the spiritual world is much bigger than this material creation. Supposing that the material world is a display of one part of Krishna's energy, the remaining three parts consist of Vaikuntha Jagat. That is 3/4, and material world is only 1/4, Vaikuntha, or the spiritual world. Described in the Bhagavad Gita as Tadham Paramam Mama, or Sanatan Dham, or the eternal world, the Chid Jagat. We have marked in the previous verse that Krishna creates and again winds up the creation. Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate. This action is applicable only in the material world, because the other greater part of his creation, namely the Vaikuntha world, is neither created nor annihilated. Therefore, it is called eternal. So, Shrishti Sthiti Pralaya is only in the material world, not in Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha is eternal. Now, in the next section, Srila Prabhupada writes, this adaptability of an organism to different varieties of planets is described in the Brahma Samhita as Vibhuti Bhinnam. That is, each and every one of the innumerable planets within the universe is endowed with a particular type of atmosphere. And the living beings there are more perfectly advanced in science and psychology because of a better atmosphere. Vibhuti means specific powers, and Bhinnam means different varieties, variegated specific powers. Scientists who are attempting to explore the outer space are trying to reach other planets by mechanical arrangements. But they must know for certain that organisms adapted to the atmosphere of Earth cannot exist in the atmosphere of other planets. This we have to understand. Our bodies are specially designed and created to adapt to Earth planet. We may not be able to live on other planets. One has to prepare himself, therefore, to be transferred to a different planet after being relieved of the present body. In this body, we cannot go to other planets. We cannot live on Jupiter or Sun or Moon with this body. It is not possible. So one has to prepare. If we want to go, someone wants to go to Chandra, someone wants to go to Surya, someone wants to go to Swarga. Okay, but we have to prepare. There are specific yajnas, pujas that have to be done to go there. But is there where we want to go? No. We want to go to Krishna. Mam upetya punarjanma dukhalayama shashvatam naptumanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gatam. We want to go to the supreme abode, Krishna's. In Bhagavad Gita 9.25, Krishna says, Yanti deva vrata devan, pitrani yanti pitravrataha, bhutani yanti bhutejya, yanti madhya jinopi mam. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. Yanti mad yajinopi mam. Those who worship me will come to me. And we want to go to Krishna. Therefore, we worship Krishna. So, let's go, Shama Vallabhi Mataji. Let's go to verse number 9. Please read it.
Text 9. Yata gunamstu prakritir yugapat kramashopi va vibarti borishas tve ekaha kurvan karmani janmabihi.
Okay. And Mukta
Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, whether he alone acts with the modes of material nature or simultaneously expands in many forms or expands consecutively to direct the modes of nature.
Okay. So, Aradhya Madhavi Mataji, there is no purport here, so I will ask you to give a purport. So, Bhagwan is one. Supreme Personality of Godhead is one. And he acts with the modes of material nature, or simultaneously expands in many forms, or expands consecutively to direct the modes of material nature. Can you tell us what is Krishna's expansion where he directs the three modes of material nature? What are the three forms of Krishna?
The Gunavtara, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji.
The three Gunavtaras are Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva.
Which material modes do they control? Respectively?
The control one is the Shiva is the mode of ignorance, mode of goodness, and mode of passion is Brahma. Maintains, which is Vishnu, maintains the universe. Shiva destructions, and Brahma is the creator.
Excellent. So these are the three guna avatars. Expands consecutively to direct the modes of nature, and simultaneously expands in many forms. This refers to the Vibhinnamsha, the jivas. So many demigods are there, so many human beings are there, so many demons are there, other animals, plants are there. So these are also Krishna's expansions. Mama Amsha Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are all Krishna's parts and parcels. Krishna is the Aham Bija Pradapita. Sarva Yonishu Kaunteya Aham Bija Pradapita. Krishna is expanding in so many forms. Then read verse number 10, Mataji.
Vichikit sitam etan me bravitu bhagavan yata shabde brahmani nishnataha parasmemshcha bhavan kalu.
Kindly clear up all these doubtful inquiries, because you are not only vastly learned in the Vedic literatures and self-realized in transcendence, but are also a great devotee of the Lord and are therefore as good as the personality of Godhead.
This is very important Siddhanta, that a devotee, a pure devotee of Krishna, is as good as the personality of God. So please raise your hands, dear devotees, if you can tell me what verse proves that we have to have equal bhakti for a pure devotee, sadhu guru, and equal bhakti for Krishna. Only then we can understand the scriptures. Yes, Nityalila Gauranga.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I had raised for a question, but is it yatha deve yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha guru?
Tasyeti Kachitahi Artha Prakashan. Shrutashutra Upanishad. Very nice. Yes, correct. So this shows that we should have equal bhakti for Guru and Krishna. Only then we can understand the scripture. So here Maharaj Parikshit is telling us that Siddhanta, that O Gurudev, Sri Shukdev Goswami, you are self-realized and you are a great devotee of Lord Krishna, and therefore you are as good as Krishna. He is addressing him as Bhagavan. Shukdev Goswami is addressed as Bhagavan. Gurudev Bhagavan ki jai. Okay. So Nityalila Gauranga, please ask your question.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in the previous verse, text 8, purport, there is this Narayana Paro Vyaktat is quoted.
Yeah.
So I wanted, help understanding that a little bit, if you think.
That is this phrase, Narayano Paro Vyaktat, is quoted many times by Srila Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita. Purports. And this is written by Shripad Ādi Shankaracharya in his commentary to Bhagavad Gita. Those are the words of Shripad Shankaracharya. Shripad Shankaracharya says that Lord Narayan is beyond all this manifestation. He is beyond all this manifestation. That is the meaning of that. That Narayana Paro, Krishna is, Lord Narayan is beyond this entire existence, this entire creation. Basically, same thing as we read in the first verse of the Chatushloki Bhāgavatam. That before this world was created, Krishna was there. After this world will be annihilated, Krishna will still be there. So that is the meaning. That Krishna is beyond this universe, beyond our understanding. He is adhokshaja. We cannot catch him with our senses. He is beyond our understanding of this world. That is the meaning. Sorry, one second. Yes.
Yeah, so it says Avyaktat means beyond Brahma Jyoti or something. Just by that word, I got a little.
Yes. Narayano Paro Avyaktat. It. I have to look at the Bhagavad Gita. Many times I have read it in Bhagavad Gita. Yes, that is my understanding. That Srila Prabhupada uses this quotation of Sripad Shankaracharya to prove that Lord Narayan is beyond this material world and beyond the Brahma Jyoti.
Okay.
Is beyond the Brahma Jyoti. Srila Prabhupada utilizes this phrase written by Sripad Shankaracharya to prove that. Yes. Vyakta avyakta. So manifest and unmanifest. So Lord Narayan is beyond that. Beyond the Brahma Jyoti also.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. That is my understanding. Okay. So we are going to read the purport to verse number 10. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Supreme Absolute Truth, Govinda, the personality of Godhead, although one without a second, is infallibly expanded by innumerable forms, non-different from another. And although he is the original person, he is still ever young with a permanent youthful energy. He is very difficult to know simply by learning the transcendental science of the Vedas, but he is very easily realized by his pure devotees. In Brahma Samhita, it is said like that Krishna has many forms. Krishna is always ever young, Nava Yavanamscha, and he is Vedeshu Durlabha. He cannot be understood just by study of the Vedas. But Adurlabha, Atma Bhakta. But those who are devotees of Krishna, they can easily understand this Krishna, who is Ramadi Murti Shukalani and Krishna. So many forms. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam. Anantarupam. Adyam Purana Purusham. He is the original oldest. Nava Yavanamscha. But still he is always ever youthful. There's very beautiful verses there in Brahma Samhita. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam. Adyam Purana Purusham Nava Yavanamscha. Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakto Govindam Adi Purusham Amaham Bhajami. Yes. So Srila Prabhupada is quoting that. Why? Because here, Maharaj, who can tell me why Prabhupada is saying like this? Vedeshu Durlabham, but Adurlabham Atma Bhakto. What is the connection of this quotation by Srila Prabhupada from Brahma Samhita in this purport to the verse? Who is paying attention here? Yes, Nityalila Gaurangi Mataji.
It is says that say that Shabde Brahmani. So you are expert in Vedas, but you are also devotee. That's the reason you are, you can answer.
That's
you
the
know.
reason.
Okay.
Because Adurlabham Atma Bhakto, the devotees know Krishna. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. So that is the meaning. And you are a great bhakta. Therefore you know and you can answer about Krishna. Others don't know. In the second paragraph, few sentences down, Srila Prabhupada writes, the Vedas say that he is so complete that even though the whole complete identity emanates from him, he still remains the same complete whole. Om Purnam Adha. That verse is there. Invocation verse in Ishopanishad. Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. Even though so many complete wholes are coming out, but still he remains complete. Purnam Eva Vashishyate. He remains complete. And Prabhupada also quotes Vedeshu Durlabham, but Adurlabham Atma Bhakto. By studying the Vedas, one cannot understand Krishna. But when you become a devotee of Krishna, then we can understand Krishna. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Yavanesyasmi tatvata. In the next paragraph, Srila Prabhupada says, Maharaj Parikshit admitted in the previous verse that Lord Krishna is inconceivable, even for the greatest learned scholars. Why then should he again request Sri Shukadev Goswami to clarify his insufficient knowledge about the Lord? The reason is clear. Not only was Shukadeva Goswami vastly learned in the Vedic literatures, but he was also a great self-realized soul and a powerful devotee of Lord Krishna. So he can know Krishna. Now Srila Prabhupada gives two examples, very beautiful examples in the purport. A powerful devotee of Krishna is, by the grace of Krishna, more than the God himself. Moreman Prabhu Asa Vishwasa, Ramate Adhik, Ramakardasa. What is the example? The personality of Godhead Sri Ramachandra attempted to bridge the Indian Ocean to reach the island of Lanka. Lord Ramachandra, to reach Lanka, required a bridge. But Sri Hanumanji, the unalloyed devotee of the personality of Godhead, could cross the ocean simply by jumping over it. Bhagwan requires a bridge. Hanumanji doesn't require a bridge. He can just go. Vibhishan also doesn't require a bridge. He can also just fly. Both are devotees. The Lord is so merciful upon his pure devotee that he presents his beloved devotee as more powerful than himself. The Lord expressed himself to be unable to save Durvasa Muni. Aham bhakta paradhino. He aswatantra. I don't know. I cannot save you. I am dependent myself on my devotee. Maybe Ambarish Maharaj can save you. Go and surrender to his lotus feet. The Lord expressed himself to be unable to save Durvasa Muni. Although Durvasa Muni was so powerful that he could reach Lord directly under material conditions. Just now we are reading, we need a special body to go to different planets. But Durvasa Muni had such a powerful body that he could go. But Durvasa Muni was saved by Maharaj Ambarish, a pure devotee of Krishna. Savai manah Krishna padara vindayo. Vacham shi vaikuntha gunanu varanane. Therefore, not only is a devotee of Lord Krishna more powerful than Krishna, but also worship of a devotee is considered more effective than direct worship of the Lord. Mad Bhakta Puja Bhyadika. This is Krishna's statement in 11th canto. Krishna tells Uddhava, Mad Bhakta Puja Bhyadika. Worship of my devotee is more important. Ye me bhakta jana partha, na me bhaktas te jana. Mad bhakta nam jay bhaktas, te me bhakto uttama mata. Another proof. The conclusion is therefore that a serious devotee must first approach a spiritual master. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. One must approach a spiritual master who is not only well versed in the Vedic literature but is also a great devotee with factual realization of the Lord and his different energies. So what is the qualification for a guru? A guru should have knowledge of the Shastra, should have knowledge of Krishna and Krishna's different energies, but also a guru should be a pure devotee of Krishna. So there should be Drid Shraddha in Krishna and there should be Shastra Yukti. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes who is a Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari and Uttam Adhikari. And Shraddha Anusar, according to the Shraddha, the faith, they are categorized. Uttam Adhikari has very strong faith and also has Shastra Yukti, also has knowledge of the scriptures. Madhyam Adhikari may have faith but does not have so much Shastra Yukti. And a Kanishta Adhikari neither has very strong faith nor too much knowledge of Krishna's energies and Krishna's pastimes. The Lord's pastimes in the internal potency are displayed in his activities in Vrindavan. But his external potential works are directed in his features of Karanarana Vashai Vishnu, Garbhodakashai Vishnu, and Shirodakashai Vishnu. Everybody understood? Srila Prabhupada is saying that the Vrindavan pastimes are happening under the influence of the internal energy, Antaranga Shakti, Chit Shakti. Whereas his external potential works, the work of Shrishti, Sthiti, Pralaya, the working of the material world, are happening under the three Purusha avatars. Karanadakshay Vishnu, Shirodakshay Vishnu, and Garbhodakshay Vishnu. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, very important, now please pay attention. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur offers his good counsel to the interested Vaishnavas when he says that they should not be interested in hearing only about Lord Krishna's activities like the Rasa Leela, but must be keenly interested in Krishna's pastimes in his features of the Purusha avatars in connection with Shrishti Tattva, creational functions, following the example of Maharaj Parikshit, the ideal disciple, and the example of Shukdev Goswami, the ideal spiritual master. So please try to understand, Parikshit Maharaj here is saying that Krishna's creative pastimes are very inconceivable. Krishna's different energies are very inconceivable. And hey Gurudev, I want to know about the creation of this world, the annihilation of this world. I want to know all that. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying we should not just be interested in hearing the Ras Leela. We should not just be interested in hearing the 10th canto pastimes of Krishna, but we should also be interested in understanding these workings of different energies of Krishna, like the creation of this world, following the example of Parikshit Maharaj and Shukdev Goswami. Parikshit Maharaj, because he's asking about these things, and Shukdev Goswami, because he's going to answer them in detail. Shukdev Goswami could have said, Ki bhai, you are about to die. Don't ask about all this creation, maintenance, destruction. Chhod do. Let's get to Vrindavan pastimes. But no. One cannot appreciate Vrindavan pastimes unless one has understanding of Tattva Siddhanta. Without Siddhanta, without understanding Tattva, we cannot relish Rasa. Therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami begins his Sandarbhas with Tattva Sandarbha. That is important. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that in his commentary, and Srila Prabhupada has included that in the purport. Many times I have seen Srila Prabhupada include Jiva Goswami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's tikas in his purports. Simple English. Srila Prabhupada doesn't always mention that this is by Srila Jiva Goswami or this is by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, but it is. So we are getting the essential points from the previous acharyas in Srila Prabhupada's Bhaktivedanta purports. And Srila Prabhupada is giving it to us in very simple contemporary language that we can understand. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada's purports have revolutionized this world and has had such an impact on the world population. Srila Prabhupada's purports, because they are very practical. Text 11, Mataji, Suta Uvacha.
Suta Uvacha Ityupa Mantrito Rajya Gunanu Katane Harehe Rishikesha Manasmritya Prati Vaktum Prachakrame.
Very nice pronunciation.
Suta Goswami said, when Shukadev Goswami was thus requested by the king to describe the creative energy of the personality of Godhead, he then systematically remembered the master of the senses, Sri Krishna, and to reply properly, he spoke thus.
Srila Suta Goswami is telling Shaunakadi Rishis, who wanted to know more details about the conversation that happened between Shukdev Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit. Remember, they asked, Shaunak Rishi asked, tell us what happened more. What questions Maharaj Parikshit asked, what answers Shukdev Goswami gave, we want to know. So Suta Goswami is telling Shaunakadi Rishis, there were 88,000 Rishis there listening, along with Shaunak Rishi. So Suta Goswami is telling them that when Shukdev Goswami was thus requested by Maharaj Parikshit to describe the creative energy of Krishna, then before speaking, Shukdev Goswami remembered Rishikesh. Rishikesham Anusmritya. Anusmritya means he remembered Rishikesh, who is the master of the senses, including the mind. Krishna is the master of the mind. He is the mastermind, or he is the mind master. And because he wanted to reply properly, Prativaktum, he wanted to give a reply to Maharaj Parikshit. But before replying, Granthere Arambha Kare Mangalacharan. Before speaking, he remembered Parama Mangal, Krishna. Mangala Mangalebhyopi. He remembered Krishna before speaking. Purport. The devotees of Lord Krishna, while delivering speeches and describing the transcendental attributes of Lord Krishna, do not think that they can do anything independently. This is very important. Whatever classes we give, whatever explanations we give, whatever understanding we have, whatever philosophy we speak, whatever Leela we speak, it is all because of Krishna's ability. Paurusham Rishu. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I give the ability. So Krishna is giving all the ability. We are not independent. They think that they can speak only what they are induced to speak by the Supreme Lord. The pure devotees, they think that I can speak only whatever Krishna induces me to speak. Whatever Krishna gives me the ability, accordingly I can speak. Nachao, nachao, Prabhu, nachao semate. Srila Prabhupada on the Jaluta wrote that Tava kripa hale mora katha shuddha habe shuniya sabar shoka dukkha je guchibe. Tava kripa habe mora katha shuddha habe. Srila Prabhupada is saying, if you give me your mercy, Krishna, then my Hari Katha will become Shuddha. And then when people hear it, Shunya Sabara, Shoka Dukkha Je Guchibe. All their sorrows and lamentation will go away when they hear my Harikatha. If you give me the Shamata, if you make my Harikatha ankit by your mercy, you give me the Shamata, you give me the ability, then it is possible. You purify my speech. Srila Prabhupada was like that. They think that whatever they can speak, it is only because Krishna is inducing them to speak, because Krishna is Rishikesh. He is the master of the senses. Vak Shakti is coming from our Karmendriya, Jivha. So like that, Vak Shakti. Krishna is the master. The senses of the individual are not his own. The devotee knows that such senses belong to the Supreme Lord. So if our senses belong to Krishna, should we use our senses for sense gratification? Whole world is doing that. Senses means, Indriya means Indra Tripti. Atmendriya Priti Vancha, Tara Bole, Kam. Krishnendriya Priti Vancha, Dhare Premanam. You want to satisfy Krishna. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. That is Bhakti. Bhakti Ruchati. Therefore, the senses can be properly used when they are employed in the service of Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Lord Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham ridi sannivishto matah smritir jnanam apohanam cha. No one is free to act freely and independently, and as such, one should always seek the permission of Lord Krishna to act or eat or speak. And by the blessing of Lord Krishna, everything done by a devotee is beyond the principles of the four defects typical of the conditioned soul. I'm repeating. By the blessings of Krishna, everything done by a devotee is beyond the principles of the four defects typical of the conditioned soul. Who knows the four defects that a conditioned soul has? Raise your hand, please. Yes, Sarojanandini Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Tendency to make mistakes, tendency to cheat, imperfect senses, and did I cover a tendency to illusioned?
Becoming illusioned. You become illusioned. Sitting in the train and a train is moving, we think, oh, our train is moving. It's an illusion. We get bhramit. We get illusioned. If we don't sleep enough, we cannot think straight. We become illusioned many times. So like that. These are the defects of a conditioned soul. But by the blessing of Krishna, everything done by a pure devotee is beyond these four defects. So is it possible for a conditioned soul to overcome these four defects? Yes, by surrendering to Krishna. If they become the recipients of Krishna's mercy, Krishna Kripa Patra. If they become, then they can overcome these four defects. So, do Srila Prabhupada's purports have these four defects? No. Because Srila Prabhupada is pure devotee. And he's inspired by Krishna. He's Krishna's puppet. Therefore, Vyasadev's writings don't have these defects of conditioned souls. Srila Rupa Goswami's writings, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami, Srila Vishwanath Chakra Thakur, Srila Narottam Das Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur. All our Acharya, the Acharya Vani is perfect. Acharya Vani is perfect. It is called Arsha Vakya. It is perfect. It is non-different from the Vedas. Therefore, it is said to criticize the Vedic literatures or literatures in pursuance of the Vedic version. It's Acharya Vani. Can be one meaning of that. It's non-different. Text 12.
Text 12. Sri Shuka Uvacha Nama Parasmai Purushaya Bhuyase Sadut Bhavastana Nirodha Leelaya Grihita Shakti Tritayaya Dehina Mantar Bhavaya Yanupalakshya Vartmani.
Very nice pronunciation. Thank you.
Gadādhara Goswami said, "Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who, for the creation of the material world, accepts the three modes of nature. He is the complete all, residing within the body of everyone, and his ways are inconceivable."
So this is the Mangalacharan of Srila Shukadeva Goswami. Before he begins speaking, he's remembering Krishna with his mind, and with his Vak Shakti, he is reciting verses glorifying Krishna. he is doing namaskar. Namaha parasmai purushaya bhuyase. He is offering his obeisances to the personality of Godhead Krishna, who for the creation of this material world accepts the three modes of nature. It's his Leela. He is a complete whole residing within the body of everyone, and his ways are inconceivable. Anupalaksha, inconceivable Krishna. So in this way, Shukadeva Goswami is glorifying Krishna. That for the purpose of this material world, he takes on these three gunas. Creation takes place through passion, maintenance through goodness, and destruction through ignorance. Purport. This material world is a manifestation of the three modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. And the Supreme Lord, for the creation, maintenance, and destruction, Shrishti, Sthiti, Pralaya, of the material world, accepts three predominating forms as Brahma, Vishnu, and Shankar, or Lord Shiva, as our Aradhya Madhavi Mataji rightly pointed out. As Lord Vishnu, he enters into every materially created body. As Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, he enters into every universe. And as Shirodakshayi Vishnu, he enters the body of every living being. As Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, he enters every universe. And as Shirodakshayi Vishnu, he enters every body, every atom even. And because he's entering everywhere, he is called as Dehinam Antah Bahaya. He is residing inside everyone. Sarvasachaham Ridhi Sannivishta. Lord Shri Krishna, being the origin of all Vishnu Tattvas, is addressed here as Paraha Puman or Purushottama. Purushottama. It is explained that the name of Krishna, Purushottam, and this is the Purushottam Adhik Mas 2023 going on. So it's very nice that today we have this word Purushottama in the purport. Our acharyas explain that Purushottama does not mean, Uttam means the topmost, the best, greater than. And Purusha does not mean different people are there and among them Krishna is the best. ऐसा नहीं कि कोई बॉलीवुड के हीरोज खड़े हैं, हॉलीवुड के हीरोज खड़े हैं and Krishna is better than them. So it's called Purushottam. In सबसे श्रेष्ठ, in सबसे उत्तम, ऐसे पुरुषोत्तम, ऐसा नहीं. That is not the meaning of Purushottam. Because we are not Purush. Who are we? Prakriti. So Purush here refers to the Purusha avatars, Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, and Paramatma, Kshirodakshayi Vishnu. Unse uttam. That is Krishna, Purushottam. One who is greater than Mahavishnu, one who is greater than Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, one who is greater than Shirodakshayi Vishnu, Paramatma. That one who is greater than all these Purusha avatars is Krishna, Purushottam. That is the meaning. Shri Srīmad Radha Govindadas Goswami Maharaj said this in Hari Katha. I was hearing a few days ago. Very beautiful. The meaning of Purushottam. Purushottam doesn't mean Krishna who is best among the human beings. Krishna does Naravat Leela sometimes. So that's not the meaning. It means he is greater than the Vishnu, the Purusha avatars, the three Vishnus. He is Purushottam. यहाँ पे clearly Prabhupada explained. Listen, Lord Shri Krishna, being the origin of all Vishnu Tattvas, he is the origin of these three Purusha avatars, is addressed here as Paraha Puman. He is beyond the Puman means Purush. He is beyond them, or his Purusha Uttam, his Purushottam. He is a complete whole. Look, Prabhupada further explains, the Purusha avatars are therefore just his plenary expansions. They are his plenary expansions. Krishna is the origin. Krishna is the Bhagavan Swami. And Bhakti Yoga is the only process by which one can know Krishna. Bhaktyam Abhijanati. Because the empiric philosophers and mystic yogis cannot understand, cannot conceive Krishna, he is called Anupalaksha Vartmane, or Lord who has inconceivable ways. That is the meaning. Okay, Mataji, so read verse 13, last verse for today.
Text number 13. Bhuyo namasad vrijinachi desata masambhavaya kila sattva murtaye pumsa punah paramahamsya ashrame vyavastitana manumritya dashushe.
I again offer my respectful obeisances unto the form of complete existence and transcendence, who is the liberator of the pious devotees from all distress and the destroyer of the further advances in aesthetic temperament of the non-devotee demons. For the transcendentalists who are situated in the topmost spiritual perfection, he grants their specific destinations.
This is Krishna. Bhuyo Namaha. Srila Shukdev Goswami is again and again offering his obeisances to Krishna, because Krishna gives liberation to the pious devotees. He delivers them from all their distress. And he is the destroyer of the atheistic temperament of the non-devotee demons. Satyameva Jayate. Truth always will prevail. For the transcendentalists who are situated in the topmost spiritual perfection, Krishna grants their specific destinations. Yes. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, Lord Shri Krishna is the complete form of all existence, both material and spiritual. Akhila. Akhila means complete. Or that which is not khila or inferior. Khila means inferior. Akhila means no, complete. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, there are two kinds of nature. There are two kinds of prakriti. Namely, the material prakriti, material nature, and spiritual nature, spiritual prakriti. Also called as external potency, which is material nature, and internal potency, which is the spiritual nature. Two prakritis are there. See, Krishna says, Daivi Prakriti Ashrita, that is the internal potency. And Krishna says, Bhinna Prakriti Ashtada, that is the external energy. Mayadhyakshana Prakriti, Suyatesa Characharam, that is external energy. The material nature is called Apara or inferior. And the spiritual nature is called Para Prakriti or superior, transcendental. And Krishna's form is supreme. He is Satchidananda Vigraha. He is Murti or having transcendental form. Krishna has a form. The less intelligent men who are unaware of Krishna's transcendental form describe him as impersonal Brahman. But the Brahman is Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti. The Brahma Jyoti is only the effulgence from Krishna's body, and therefore Brahman realization is a partial understanding of Krishna. How can we ignore his Purusha avatar, Paramatma? And how can we ignore the source of Brahma Jyoti and Purusha avatar, that is Bhagavan? Therefore, both Paramatma realization and Brahman realization are spiritual realizations. They are transcendental realizations, but they are partial and incomplete. Complete realization is Bhagavan realization. Further down, it is said, Srila Jiva Goswami has directly accepted that the highest destination. Hare Krishna. Srila Jiva Goswami has directly accepted that the highest destination is Bhakti Yoga, by which one accepts the loving service of Krishna. Bhakti Yoga means loving service of Krishna. Those who accept the path of Bhakti Yoga are factual Paramahamsas. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, there are two classes of Paramahamsas. This is important. There are two classes of Paramahamsas. Namely, Brahmanandis, impersonalists. These are not Mayavadis. These are Brahmanandis. They are Brahmavadis. And there are Premanandis. Brahmanandis and Premanandis. Those who want the Anand of Brahman and those who want Anand of Prem. Premanandis are devotees. And both are awarded their desired destinations. Although the Premanandis are more fortunate than the Brahmanandis, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. Hari Bol. So beautiful this is. But both the Brahmanandis and the Premanandis are transcendentalists. And they have nothing to do with the inferior material nature, which is full of existential miseries of life, dukkhalaya. So Therefore, we should be after Premanand, not Brahmanand. Premanand comes from loving service to Krishna. Tesham satayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. Therefore, with love, worship Krishna. Prema pumarto mahan. That is Premananda. Anandam buddhi vardhanam pratipadam. That is Premanand. So we'll stop here. Granthara Srimad Bhāgavatam ki jai,
Yeah.
Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Itai Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Yes, Mataji, Shama Vallabh Mataji.
Prabhuji, I think you have answered this question I asked previously, but I'm forgetting. Brahmanandi and Mayavadi, what is the difference, Prabhuji? Both goal are Brahman, no?
Yes. The difference is Brahmanandis or Brahmavadis, they are simply attracted by the unlimited blissful existence of the Brahma Jyoti, where there is no, it is nirvikar, there is no change, there is no birth, old age, disease, death, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi is not there. So they are attracted by the Brahman. They don't have sufficient knowledge of Bhagavan. That is why they are Brahmanandi. But they don't have anything against Bhagavan. They are not envious of Bhagavan. They are not inimical towards Bhagavan. They do not criticize Bhagavan. They are called Brahmavadis. Mayavadis are those who say that Krishna's form, Krishna's name, Krishna's Leela, Krishna's Dham, they are all products of Maya. And they are temporary. And when the purpose is over, Krishna winds up his pastimes, his Leela, and disappears. And that is the end of Krishna avatar. That is the end of Krishna's Dham. They don't believe that Krishna's name is eternal. Krishna's Dham is eternal. Krishna's form is Satchidananda Vigraha. They don't believe in this. They think that ultimate reality is the Brahma Jyoti, the Brahman. And for the sake of Leela, Brahman sometimes takes a divine form like Ram or Krishna, performs Leela, and then disappears. But what remains is Brahman. So because they say that actually spiritual things cannot have any shape, form, it is nirvikar, nirvishesh, undifferentiated. And for the Brahman to appear as Krishna, there has to be some vikar, that Brahman has to take a form. So the modes of material nature are mixed. And therefore, the form of Krishna also has creation, maintenance, and destruction. Krishna takes birth, Ram takes birth, Krishna grows, Ram grows, and Ram dies in the Sharayu river by drowning, and Krishna dies because of a hunting accident when he's shot with the arrow. This is called Mayavad. There is the mixture of the modes of material nature even in the incarnation of God. And therefore, the incarnation is finished. And when it is finished, then everything merges into the Brahman. Brahman cannot have any vikar, any transformation, any change in it. But if transformation is required for the sake of Leela, then using the modes of material nature, the avatars happen. Brahman takes the form of Ram or Krishna. So because they say that Krishna is a product of Maya, Gunamayi Maya, Gunamayi Maya, the three modes of material nature are Maya. So because Krishna's form is also under the influence of the three gunas, which are Maya, therefore they are called Mayavadi. Because they say that Krishna's form is Maya, Krishna's Leela is Maya, Krishna's Dham is Maya. Why Maya? Because it is all temporary. Ultimately, it will be destroyed. They don't believe that there is the eternal Vaikuntha planet, there is eternal Golok Vrindavan, where the Nitya Leela is taking place, Uppercut Leela is taking place. No. They feel that this undifferentiated, unlimited, beyond the modes of material nature, this Brahman that exists, it is the Supreme. And because they call Krishna's form, Krishna's Leela as Maya Janit, They are called Mayavadis. So that is a difference. So Mayavadis are Krishna Aparadhis, according to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Mayavadis are those who speak against the eternality and the spiritual pure existence of Krishna, Krishna's Leela, and Krishna's name, Krishna's Dham. They are Mayavadis. Brahmavadis don't criticize Krishna. They just lack sufficient knowledge of Krishna. Therefore, a Brahmavadi can easily become a Bhakta. Example is our Chatush Kumar. They were Brahmavadis. But as soon as they smelled the aroma of Tulasi, who is Krishna Bhakti Pradayani, Tulasi Devi, they immediately became devotees because they are not envious of Krishna. Is that helpful, Shama Vallavi Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. But both reach Brahman only. Suppose if they meet devotees, they will go become a Bhakta Brahmanandi.
Mayavadis go to hell. Mayavadis go to hell. They suffer in hell because they are Krishna Aparadhi. How can Krishna Aparadhi go into Brahman? No. Mayavadis go to hell. That is the conclusion of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Brahmavadis go to Brahman. A Mayavadi who says that Krishna's form, Krishna's Leela is Mayajanit, how that person can go and get liberation? No. Mayavadi, Krishna Aparadhi. In Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself says that there is a Mayavadi in Varanasi and he will suffer. Now in this life he will suffer from leprosy and after that he will suffer in hell. Because he is criticizing Krishna, he is criticizing Bhakti, he is criticizing Krishna's name, Krishna's Dham, by saying that it is temporary and it is a product of the three modes of material nature. Krishna is beyond the three modes of material. What to speak of Krishna? Even Krishna's devotees go beyond three modes of material. Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sa gunan samatitayatan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. They don't have this understanding. So Mayavadis cannot go to Brahmajyoti. Going to Brahmajyoti is still a very exalted spiritual destination that is attained by those who are nirapradhi and who are nishpap. Those who are pure souls, they go to the Brahmajyoti. The Brahmavadis. They are saintly people. But Mayavadi who has a disregard for Krishna, they may think that I will attain the highest destination of Brahman, but they don't. Rather, they fall down. Ye anya arvindaksha vimukta maninastoyashta bhavad avishuddha buddhaya aruya krachena parampadam tata patanti adho anadrat yashmadangraya. Anybody who has another for Krishna's lotus feet, patanti adho anadrat yashmadangraya. Oh, Brahmaji is saying, oh Krishna, those who have disregard for your lotus feet, they may think manina, they may think that they have attained Brahman or they will attain Brahman. But even after practicing for a long time spirituality, so-called spirituality, aruya krachena, they may have climbed up the yoga ladder, but patanti adho, they will fall down because of their fault of having disregard for your lotus feet. So Mayavadis don't, Brahmavadis yes. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, one more question not related to today's subject. How to remember all the verses, Prabhuji?
Mataji, I am myself not good at remembering the verses. I don't know many verses, but what I have heard from devotees who know many verses is that you have to keep reciting them. Shripad Vaisheshika Maharaj, when he came to Atlanta, he gave a Bhagavad Gita class in the morning. And it was just us. And he quoted at least 50 verses in that Bhagavatam class. It was spontaneous Bhagavatam class. He said, what do you want me to read? So I just gave a verse from Bhagavatam. He read the translation, the verse, translation, purport, and made nice comments and spoke so many verses from Bhagavad Gita, from Srīmad Bhāgavatam, from Chaitanya Charitamrita. It was mind-boggling. And everything was at a very relevant, specific purpose. All the verses were quoted very nicely. So Maharaj, he doesn't waste any time. And whenever he's in the car, whenever he is, whatever, he just takes out a book and reads, and recites those verses very nicely. So by repetition, by reading again and again and reciting them again and again, by abhyas, we will be able to remember them. Some of us have sharp memory, some of us have weak memory. And that is how we are made based on our prarabdha. And we cannot fight that. But all we can do is, Krishna, I want to remember you, and these verses glorify you. They inspire your remembrance in me. So please, Krishna, can you help me remember these verses of Srimad Bhāgavatam, which are non-different from you? Then Krishna matah smritir jnanam apohanam cha. From Krishna comes remembrance. Krishna will give the ability to remember the verses. So we should pray to Krishna, and we should show our sincerity to Krishna by saving these verses in some PDF or in some printout, or write them down in a notebook, and we should keep reading them again and again and reciting them loudly. That's the way to remember. Now see, for example, in the first module, second module, before every class, we together recite these verses of Srimad Bhāgavatam. And by the end of the module, we can just recite them and submit, right? We don't have to memorize. We have memorized them over the months that we have been repeating them twice a week, every week. So just by repeating them, visually seeing them, reading them, and with our mouth and tongue, reciting them in the proper tune, proper melody based on the chanda, then we can memorize them. Like today, initially it was Anushtup, and then the meter was, I don't know which one it was, but probably Indra Vajra or something like that. So you immediately change the melody, I saw. So if we do like that, we sing the verses with the proper melody, like Srila Raghunath Bhatta Goswami used to do, then it becomes easier to memorize them. So like that, by repeating them and writing them down and praying to Krishna, we can memorize verses. But even if we are not able to memorize the verses, there is no loss. At least we know Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So we should keep chanting that. Krishna will accept us. Okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Last two questions, Mukta Sangha Prabhu and then Shama Kishori Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Prabhu, Sukadeva Goswami, he was a parrot, Radharani's abode. But how was he born as Brahmavadi when he was born?
That is a Leela. Although Shukadeva Goswami is a Nitya Siddha Mahabhagavat from Goloka Vrindavan, but this is the Leela that is happening. In the Leela, he is a Brahmavadi in the beginning, and then he needs education from his father, Srila Vyasadeva, in order to become a devotee. That is a Leela. Like Krishna always has the Kaustubh Mani, but in the Kalyadaman Leela, the Nagapatnis give Kaustubh Mani to Krishna. That is a Leela. Actually, Kaustubh Mani eternally belongs to Krishna. But in the Leela, it appears that, oh, the Nagapatnis gave. Similarly, Vyasadeva gave knowledge to Shukadeva Goswami about Bhakti. Before that, he was Brahmavadi. That is just the Leela. Krishna also goes to Sandipani Muni's ashram to get education, right? So that's Leela.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. I have another small question.
Yeah. Did this answer the question?
Yes, Prabhu. Same question was asked by somebody else and I was not able to answer. That's why I asked.
Yeah, it's a Leela. Everything happens according to Leela. No? Arjun also, he got his Gandiv when he allowed Agnidev to eat the Khanda forest. So everything that happens in the Avatar Katha, it has some hetu, it has some cause that happens and then it happens. So, but that cause is just a nimitta. It is just a excuse for it to happen. But actually, Krishna, for example, Krishna holds the Padma. Lord Hari holds the Padma, lotus. Gajendra gave. And Krishna, I will always have it. But the Padma always belongs to Krishna. That is one of his 4 chinna. Similarly, Krishna having the peacock feather. There is a pastime where Radha and Krishna were dancing they were dancing like peacocks. The dance steps were like peacocks. They didn't become peacocks, but they were dancing like peacocks. Very beautifully, Radha and Krishna. And the peacocks felt so happy that Radha and Krishna are dancing like them. Then the peacocks gifted their feather to Krishna. Krishna said, I will always have it in my turban. Now, Krishna always is Shikipichamavadi, eternally. But in the Prakata Leela, that was the pastime after which Krishna was having peacock feather. So this is just the Leela. Similarly, Shukdev Goswami is eternally devotee, but now he has appeared. So how he became devotee? There is a pastime behind that, like that. So Srila Prabhupada was following the non-violent movement of Gandhi. Now, is that Nitya Leela? No, that was just naimittic, circumstantial. But in the Leela, then Prabhupada is dragged by Narendra Malik, his friend, to Ulta Danga Junction Terrace. And then he meets his Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And then Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada gives him instruction, teaches him, he hears the Bhagavatam class, reads Srila Saraswati Thakur's books, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur books, and then takes initiation and becomes a great devotee, Jagat Guru, Srila Prabhupada. But actually, Srila Prabhupada is always Jagat Guru. He's eternal, he's Nitya Siddha. But when he comes as Acharya, he manifests his Sadhak Avastha and he manifests his Siddha Avastha. So Shukdev Goswami also, studying Bhagavatam, studying Barha Pidam Natavara Vapuhu, studying Aho Bhakiyam Stanakala Kutam verses from his father, that is his Sadhak Avastha. And then Shukdev Goswami speaking Bhagavatam to Maharaj Pari, Siddha Avastha. Srila Prabhupada attending the Vrindavan Yatra with Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, attending the class, taking initiation, that is Sadhak Avastha of Srila Prabhupada. Chanting 64 rounds every day, that is Sadhak Avastha of Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada sitting in Radha Damodar temple and delivering the Nectar of Devotion series of lectures, or sitting in New Vrindavan and delivering the Bhagavad Dharma discourses, that is Siddha Avastha of Srila Prabhupada. So every sadhak has every great devotee, Nitya Siddha Bhakta, when they come and they perform Leela here as Acharya, there is a Sadhak Avastha and there is Siddha Avastha. So Shukdev Goswami also initially manifested a Sadhak Avastha and then manifested a Siddha Avastha. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
What is the second question, Prabhu? Hare Krishna.
Second is very simple, Prabhu. When we were reading the purport with the first verse we started today about the planets. So where does these planets which are defined in our scientific books, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, all those planets, do they belong to one Bhu, or how is it? Because Bhu is considered as Earth, right? So that's one of the planets which we study. Where are the other 8 planets? They are not described in scriptures at all.
Yeah, they are described, no?
Where? Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter.
Yeah, they are all described.
Where, bro? Where do they belong to? Which? Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha. Right, it goes, right? So what are those planets?
Oh, like that. So
Yeah.
that probably, even I don't know, you have to ask someone like Pavaneshwar Prabhu. But my understanding is that there is the Earth planet and then there is the Bhumandal, where the earthly planets are situated. And I also don't know the exact, what is the hierarchy of these planets, but it is there. We'll read it in the 5th canto, the Vedic cosmology. But basically, the planets like Jupiter or Mercury or Venus or even Pluto, the planet of Yamraj, Saturn, Shani, they're described in the Surya Siddhanta and other books dealing with astronomy and astrology. So these planets are described. So they exist, but exactly
Which region?
Which region and all that, probably even I'm not very conversant.
Yeah.
But maybe when we come to you can ask someone like Pavaneshwar Prabhu, they will be happy. But when we come to the 5th canto, where all these planets are described, that time we'll study them more deeply. So you have the Vedic cosmology book?
No problem. I have.
Pavaneshwar Prabhu book, no?
I've seen.
I have it. I have not read it. I have not read it. But definitely these planets are not just in the Western astronomy. They are there in our Vedic also. All these planets are there. But I cannot tell you exactly where is what situated, the structure of the universe. I don't know. Maybe Pavaneshwar Prabhu can answer.
Okay.
I think Pavaneshwar Prabhu gave a series of lectures on Bhakti Sangha Japa group. Maybe Kasturi Manjari, Karita Sundari Mataji can give you that playlist. Harish Mataji went into ecstasy. Suddenly she manifested. So Mataji can send you the playlist. Okay?
Sure. Thank you.
Give a full series. Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Thank you. So Shama Kishori Mataji. Oh, sorry. You can unmute Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Thank you very much for such a wonderful class. And I had a similar question which Mukta Sangha Prabhu asked about Shukadev Goswami being a Brahmavadi. So my question got answered. We just wanted to wish you, Prabhuji, a very happy Krishna conscious birthday, and thank you so much for all your help, support, guidance. We really enjoy these classes. So thank you very much, Prabhuji, for this wonderful devotional service. And my prayers to Shri Shri Nitai Sachinandan for your good health and spiritual progress, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Shama Kishori Mataji and all the devotees. I am your Kripa Abhilashi. I am dependent and I am expecting your Kripa, your mercy on me, your blessings. I am doing this service just trying to please all of you. I am doing it for my spiritual advancement, because by reading Srīmad Bhāgavatam, by reading Jaiva Dharma, I will make spiritual progress. But I am doing this also as a service to all of you. And my aim is to see smiles on your face, see you also make spiritual advancement, and make all of you happy in whatever way I am empowered to do by Guru Gauranga Gopinath. The second module questions are there. I have got 84 emails to go through. Some of you all have corrected. This time I'm trying to do devotee wise. So I take Amrit Gaurangi Mataji and I check her part 1, part 2 and shloka and then submit. So I'm trying to do it like that. But what is happening is last 2-3 weeks I'm having migraines. Whenever I look at the screen, I get headaches and migraine, and my head and back of my neck starts hurting. So I'm avoiding screen time, and unfortunately all the answers are on the screen. I have tried reducing the brightness also, but I keep getting migraines because in the hospital I spend a lot of time in front of the screen doing patient charting and all that, looking up their labs, their MRI reports, their everything, reading their notes. So I spend at least 5 or 6 hours every day just on the computer charting. And different computers in the hospital, they have different brightness levels. So by the time I come in, I'm just very exhausted and I don't feel like looking at screen. I prefer to read books. So then, therefore, they are pending. I have been postponing it. But once I'm a little bit caught up with my health, I will correct all of them. So I've been wanting to tell that for a long time. I keep forgetting. But yes, I'm doing all this. Whatever services I'm doing to make all of you happy as far as possible. So I hope I'm able to please all of you someday. That is my aim, because all of you are very sincere devotees, and I know all of you are very dear to Guru Gauranga and Gopinath. So therefore, I am your servant. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Ajay Govind Prabhu, you have a question?
Thank you so much for the nice class. I didn't have a question, Prabhu. I just wanted to say the same thing as Mataji already said.
Hare Krishna.
You are very happy Krishna conscious birthday, and thank you so much for taking so much pains for giving us such nectarian time, at least more than 3 times a week for sure, and highly indebted for that. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your kind words, Ajay Govind Prabhu. And Nityalila Gaurangi Mataji, you have a question, Mataji?
Very happy Krishna conscious birthday, Prabhuji. Please bless us, bless me, that I make some progress, Prabhuji. The question, like the Prabhuji asked, I read a little bit in 5th Canto, Prabhuji. So
yeah, please
Sumeru, yeah, I mean, I cannot answer, but maybe some highlights what I read. So there is this Sumeru mountain, which is straight in the middle, and there is circular Bhu Loka, which is earth, and then there is Swarga Loka, and all these are like leveled, and the sun and moon and all are like rotating around Sumeru.
Okay.
So Bhu is flat. It's round, but it is flat. And this is how like it is Bhu, and then other lokas horizontal. Vertical is the Sumeru, and on the around Sumeru on the top are all these planets. As Prabhuji said, Moon, Guru, Shani. So all these different planets are there.
So
Mars,
these planets, Guru, Shani and all, they are higher planets, lower or same as Bhulok?
So it's above Bhulok. It's around Swargalok, I think, because they are also demigods. So that's why it is around that area. And sun is also rotating. So in Bhagavatam, I think exact distance is also given in, as far as I remember, some like how far is Guru from Shani, how far is Surya from Chandra. So all these different levels are given. How much north one planet is from another. So I think that even the Western, cosmology is getting all this from Vedic only. That's what I feel, because there it is given with exact distance in yojanas, which we can convert to miles. So it's very detailed and exact how much north is one star from the other. That is also given. And they rotate, even sun rotates around the Sumeru mountain. So instead of earth rotating, sun is rotating. That's what our Bhagavatam and Vedas say, I think. So, and how much it rotates and how fast it rotates, everything is like discussed. So it's maybe
Mercury,
when we
Venus are high or low to Earth or same?
So everything is one after the other. I'll check the names, Prabhuji, like Mercury, Venus, what is it translated? Like Guru, Shani, Mangal, all these are above each other. So like days of the week, we start from Somvar, Mangalvar, Budhvar. So like that, it is one after the other on the north of each.
Okay.
Like that it comes. So sun, then comes moon, then like that it is described there.
Got it.
Yeah, but you can read, Prabhuji, because this is what I remember. Might not be accurate, but something like this. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Ajay Govind Prabhu.
There's a very nice question answer session on this particular thing by His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, the spiritual scientist. We can search that on Google or his website also. He has very clearly described a lot of things about advanced astronomy in the Srīmad Bhāgavatam. And he says that in the Canto 16 chapter summary Srila Prabhupada has given, and he has given other references also where this has been defined, and he has given a chart there of all the planets according to the modern science, how they are and where they actually reside. So he has tried to describe that in the words and given a chart of how they are placed with the radius and where their outer and inner orbit are. I can share the link on the chat. It's totally scientific, but yes.
Yeah, you can put it in the chat, and then those who are interested can click on that. Thank you, Prabhuji. Shama Kishori Mata, you want to say something?
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, there's a very nice series of lectures by Ādi Gadādhara Dāsa Prabhuji on Vedic structure of cosmos, and he has like hundreds of lectures on it, and he has explained it very systematically, the whole structure of the cosmos from a Vedic perspective. So if people are interested, they can do that. I think the chat is disabled. Otherwise, I was going to put a link to the video.
In the chat. Oh, chat is disabled. I'm so sorry. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I do that because in the middle of the class when there are things popping up in the chat box, I get distracted. So that's why. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a wonderful speaker.
Srila Das Gadadhar Prabhu.
Yes. Srila Radhanath Swami disciple. And in Jharkhand, he has started a brahmachari ashram and he's doing a lot of wonderful things. But his lectures on Vedic structure of cosmos, he has a whole playlist.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Look at it.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Mataji. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna. Srila
Happy
Prabhupada
Krishna
ki.
conscious birthday,
Thank you very
Prabhuji.
much.
Hare Bhava. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, dear devotees. Thank you.
Prabhuji, please take care of your health, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Radhe Radhe.
I'm fine.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Hare Krishna.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Hare Krishna.